This program is financially supported by the fundings from the European Commission.
You are listening to the Ebu Access Cast, the first official podcast from European Blind Union about assistive technology for blind and partially sighted people. And here are the hosts.
Welcome to the 6th episode of the Ebu Access Cast. This is the holiday episode, and we are almost at the Christmas time, so we wish you a Merry Christmas. And with me, I have Bart Simons from Belgium.
Good afternoon.
And Jacob Rosin from Estonia.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Well, maybe somebody's listening us in the morning.
Yeah, so I should say good evening. So, yeah, these are European time zones different. Holiday time zones.
Yeah, we have 3 time zones in Europe. Good morning, afternoon, and evening.
Yeah, and the Christmas time zone.
Yeah.
How are you doing, guys?
Oh, pretty good. I'm just quite busy because it's, as you said, Christmas time. We're recording this on Sunday, the 16th of December. So before the holidays, everybody wants to do lots of things so they can enjoy the holiday. So quite busy, but it's great to be busy. I like it.
Yeah. What's going on in Brussels, Bart?
It's quite okay.
All right, that's good. So, we got some comments from our listeners about the Sunu band demonstration, which we broadcast last month. Yeah, people liked it, and once more, thanks Jesper for doing it. It was very good.
Really well done. Yeah. Thank you.
Really well done.
Yeah.
We are looking for the future demonstrations as well. So,
I set the bar quite high for the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
So anybody who wants to do the demonstration for us with the interesting product,
Just let us know and we can discuss it after.
Of course. I have to say that, I purchased the Sunu band for myself in the meantime.
That was a great demo then.
Yeah. And I really like the product. I have to say the engineering team from the Sunu company really put good thought about the device, and it really works well. I have to say that regarding the differences between the Android app and the iOS app for the Sunu band, there are little differences, but I'm already in the beta team for the Sunu app. For the Android side, so we are working on the new beta apps, and the thing is that when the new app officially comes out, it will have all the features the same, which are on the iOS app, so there will be no differences, which is good.
Yes.
And the device itself is really good. I really like it. The only downside of the device is that it's made of plastic, so you should be a little bit more careful with the device. But again, it's the same thing with the Dot Watch. I mean, the Dot Watch itself, I have the impression that it's also plasticky. Part you have the watch, so
yeah. Well, I don't own it, but
okay.
Seen the demo thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It doesn't. Yeah. Well, we will see. Yeah. It's hard to.
Right.
But I see what you mean. It's an impression, but let's see in 3 years' time how it turns out when people using it.
Sure. Yeah, that's true.
I also got a new wrist device in a while. I upgraded my Apple Watch to Series 4, the new one which came out a few months ago. So yeah, the Apple Watch. And I think it's now sort of ready, because when I used the previous generations, it always was kind of slow, and doing things on it took so much time because it was always loading stuff. And then I preferred, it was just faster for me to take my phone from my pocket and do it there. But now the watch is quite as fast as the phone in terms of doing stuff and navigating the screens. So now I'm using it all the time for various things, to answer calls or to check some data or notifications. So if somebody has been thinking of getting an Apple Watch and hasn't done it so yet, then the 4th generation is definitely the way to go at the moment.
Okay, so you had the 3rd one before.
I had the 2nd one. I didn't have
You
the
had the
3rd
2nd one. Okay.
I skipped the 3rd one, and then I got to the 4th one. Yeah.
The 4th one. Okay. Well, that's nice. So we get the new gadgets.
Yeah, new gadget time's great.
Yeah, I got also quite few of new bases, but that's a thing for another episode. Actually, yeah, we should definitely do the episode about the blind musicians and how do we.
Oh, indeed, we can make a special one.
We definitely we can make a few special ones because there are so many things we can talk about it.
Yes.
Because there are some differences between how we utilize the same technology compared to the sighted colleagues, and it goes from using the keyboards and the various software devices up even to the string instruments. So yeah, we'll be happy to do that for the future. Yeah, Bart, did you get anything for Christmas? Gadgets.
I'm considering to. I'm not a big audio, so I will skip the recording. I'm not a musician at all, and I'm not so good in audio either. So maybe you could advise me. I would like to find a way to eliminate not eliminate my CDs, but to have them digital. I have them digital, but I don't have a good audio system. And of course, there is Sonos, and I read Jonathan's book about it. Jonathan Mosen has written a book on Sonos, but it's 2 years old, so they have already new devices.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I'm sure there are alternatives for Sonos. So I don't know if you guys or any of our listeners have some recommendations, because it's quite an investment. So I would like to make the right choice. I tried the Sonos app at somebody's home, and today it's the day when I tried it was very accessible. Of course, there's always a risk that accessibility of an app, because you're completely depending on the app accessibility. So do you have any ideas or recommendations?
Well, I'm using over here. We are using Google Home very happily. So because Google Home is
can it store your local music? How do you go about?
You have to stream it. Or if you want, you can connect, for example, your phone via Bluetooth and then stream the stuff from the Bluetooth.
Does it? Because that's what I wouldn't like, that then the talkback or the voice also comes via the device. Does that stay on your phone, or
no? It doesn't. It sends it also over to.
It sends it all. That's a little bit disadvantage. Yeah.
But I think that this is the case. But this is the case with all the
with
smart
Bluetooth
speakers. Yeah,
that's the bit. What I do use is I happen to have a smart TV which can drag information from my NAS drive box. So it connects over the network to that, and then I can listen to my files from there.
I see. And how do you operate the
TV has a screen reader built in.
Right. Yeah, you made a demo of that.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes. Okay, that's a nice take on it. And it has good speakers.
Well, it's connected to a sound system, actually. So the TV has a crappy speakers, but I like the. I'm using a Harman Kardon. I don't remember the stupid name of the system because it was very long lectures and numbers. But our Harman Kardon, one of their 5.1 audio systems. So that's quite nice.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on.
All right, shall we go to the news?
Sure.
Yes.
Let's check it out. What's going on?
Instagram wants to make itself more accessible. However, I think it's failing miserably at the moment. what Instagram did is they made alternative text available to their photos, so people can now write an alternative text or an image description to a picture they are uploading, and the people who are visually impaired can read it with a screen reader. And also there is an option, automatically the system describes it as well with the object recognition. However, it kind of works sometimes. It describes the picture with a few keywords. But why I say that it's failing is that they made this function available, but they haven't made, I don't know how about Android, but on iOS, the app still isn't too accessible. For example, if I go to stories of Instagram, then I cannot see any picture descriptions. And stories are the things people are using these days mostly. I also cannot read any text they have written there. So stories bit is inaccessible, and the same with the whole feed experience. It's not very standardized. So I said it's strange. They made this function available so people with visual impairment can see the image descriptions, but the app itself isn't too accessible. So if anybody from Instagram is listening to us, I'm sorry, but you started from the wrong end.
Okay. Yeah, we can link. There is another podcast called BB Blind Barbecue.
No, Blind Bargains, I think you mean.
Blind Bargains. Sorry. Yeah, Blind Barbecue. But it was called before Blind Barbecue, actually. Yeah, or something like that. Blind Bargains are having the interview with the guys from Instagram in their latest episode, which just got released yesterday, so I didn't have time to listen to it, but we can link it in the show notes, so anybody who wants to know what's going on with the Instagram accessibility can do that.
If I understand correctly, it's because it's now Facebook and Instagram are in the same company. So as I understood, they took the intelligence or the software from that they use already on Facebook to generate the alt text, and they integrate it now into Instagram. But it's of course unfortunate that they don't work on that. Hopefully the rest of the app will follow, as Jakob says, because indeed it's nice to have an accessibility feature, but if your basic app is not accessible, then
from what I'm not sure if I understood it correctly, but I think that they first made these accessibility features for the browser.
The browser is quite okay.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Everybody uses the
apps,
app,
right? Yeah.
And actually, this is a good. Well, this is something I was really happy when I saw that article, because everybody uses Instagram these days, and I feel I'm missing a lot when I'm not on there, because my job, since I work in radio, is to know what people are posting on socials. And if I cannot do that, I sometimes like, oh, this person is traveling somewhere because somebody said it. And like everybody's like, yeah, how do you know? Because he's posting stuff to Instagram. So it's kind of, I really hope that adding the image descriptions isn't the only thing they're going to do, and that will become accessible.
Right.
Yeah,
clear message.
Yes, actually, I still don't have an Instagram account, so when I will open it, I don't know, because from what I heard and from what I kind of previewed from the Instagram, I didn't find it useful for me at all. Though I do understand why people use it, but okay, from my point, I didn't find it useful. Okay, what do we have next? Let me check. Yeah. NVDA 2018.4 RC2 is released. which means that probably if you are going to listen our podcast, maybe the full version of 2018.4 will be out. But anyway, for the moment, the release candidate number 2 is out. Usually, when you have the software which is in the release candidates, that means that it's almost ready, but it's the final public betas that are being tested, and then when it's fully tested, then it goes to the official release. Usually, the NVIDIA team released like 3 release candidates before its official release, so it's just a matter of days when the new thing will be out. There are a bunch of new improvements in terms of better support for working with these new Windows emojis built in now in Windows 10.
Oh yeah, you can do accessible happy faces.
Yeah. And a bunch of the other stuff with the Braille displays and some improvements, some Office improvements. So, but what? Yeah, go ahead and check out the new NVDA. It's almost out, and who is using NVDA will be very happy with the new release. I hope. What I would like to see is really there's a my critic from my side is that, hey guys, come on, fix this Microsoft Office. I mean, if you would have much better support for the Office in terms of responsiveness, then much more people would use it in the corporate environments. Because right now, when you use the Office with the NVDA, you can get to the certain information. It's exposed, so it's not that it's not accessible, but
it just takes a while.
Yeah, it's really clunky. So yeah, guys, can you please work on that? Yeah, we would appreciate it a lot. Because right now, when you compare NVDA to the other screen reader from Vispero group called Just for Windows, the difference between the Office support is really noticeable. I mean, the I don't know if you had a chance of trying the new JAWS 2019. It's really flying in the Office.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really that responsive.
That's great. I haven't got a chance to do it, and I don't have any Windows environment here with Office at the moment. So I'm using Office on the Mac.
Okay, yeah.
So it's good over here as well. This hasn't got any updates though. It did actually. It did get a few. It got a dark mode. So now you can turn for maybe the dark mode. I heard it's quite helpful for people who have low vision. So you can turn your backgrounds to black and text to white, for example. So now you can do that as well on the Office on the Mac. Happy times.
Nice. And now, the thing for Bart.
Oh, yeah.
The thing for Bart. Microsoft Edge is going towards open source route, and they are switching to the Chromium system instead of their own to be utilized in the Edge. So it's kind of recent news. The news came out like about 10 days ago. From what I understand, the Edge in the future versions they said like that in the future versions in 2019, which will be probably in the spring update of Windows 10, we will see the new things coming up. It should be as accessible as the Google Chrome is, but is it like that, or
if it's running on the same system? So basically what it does, they take, for example, basically what they as I understand, it's like a book system. So basically, if you think of a Google Chrome as a book, Microsoft rips off the covers of the book and puts their Edge covers there, but the inside is still Google Chrome. So the accessibility way is like Google Chrome. And I have used Google Chrome for a few years daily, and I really liked it. It's fast and accessible and great. So I think it's a great news.
Yeah, on the beginning, I was my first reaction was, what? Microsoft is going to throw away its product that it's been pushing for 2 years? But then I thought,
eventually nobody used it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so for accessibility, this sounds like good news, because we are working accessibility-wise since much more time on Chrome accessibility than all the back work that had to be done for Edge. It's a bit unfortunate of all these efforts that Freedom Center or Vispero and NVIDIA have been doing to try to support Edge. But okay, I agree with you. I hope it's a good news for accessibility. I also started to use Chrome recently, since Firefox has so many issues with either supported by JAWS if you have this version or not, and if you go to the version without what was it, with the big update with Firefox, and then you had to go to an ESR version, and then you could again use it, but on my computer it doesn't work, Firefox with JAWS. So I use Chrome much more than before, and I'm very happy with the way it runs. So I have good hopes for Edge. That sounds good.
Yeah, we will see. Let's see how it will come up at the end. Because I'm not happy. I mean, right now the Firefox is much better than it used to be in terms of the accessibility improvements. I have to say, how the situation looked last year, it was really terrible at one point when they started to change the code and stuff. It was messy as hell. I have to say that now here on my machine I use it with JAWS and NVDA, and it works with both. So it's fine. However, what I didn't find, and which is kind of weird because it should be working, but it's not, is the thing that if you use Chrome with NVDA, then the long descriptions doesn't work. I don't know if you had a chance of testing it.
How often do you encounter long descriptions?
Not often, but I mean, if you're doing the web access
if it's
testing,
just that,
you have to use it sometimes. So the feature doesn't work, but okay, it could be fixed probably in the future. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, if it's only that, then
the other things, are working quite okay. And eventually, JAWS works with Chrome now really well, I have to say.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. We will have the link in our show notes about this transition from Microsoft. There will be two links about it, because one is like the official information, and if there are people who want to know more, there is detailed information from Microsoft's GitHub.
It's
for
very
Edge.
technically detailed.
Yeah, it's like technical information, so you can go there and check what's going on. And another news from Microsoft. Well, since Microsoft purchased so many companies, now they're also owning Skype. The thing is that Skype launched real-time captions and subtitles, which at the end would be good also for the accessibility, because people with hearing impairment will definitely get advantage from this. Or also if we are in a situation where you have a bad connection or you cannot hear somebody very well, the system should be working on that. And as they say, for right now it supports 20 languages.
That's great.
I think it's wonderful for deafblind people.
Yeah.
And maybe also to this translation part, if it really works well, because then if you would have an international discussion, everybody could, in theory, if it all works well, could speak their own language, and
system will just translate it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a cool way to like participate in a conference or whatever in a noisy situation, so you can just use your braille display to read what's being said.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is that it supports Skype on every platform. So basically, you can have Skype on your phone or Mac or Windows machine, and it should be working the same, as they say.
I must say that Google does already subtitle videos on YouTube, for instance.
Yeah.
YouTube is also from Google, and so it tries to with software. It tries to detect what is said in the audio and transcribes it into the captions. Now, I must say that I hear a lot of complaints about the quality of this recognition, because it needs to recognize the voice and transcribe it into text. When we check captions, there is only the automatic ones. There are always plenty of errors, especially when there is, of course, when there are a lot of names that are unfamiliar, or as you say, when the speaker is in a more noisy environment, or when there is background music, or several people are talking simultaneously. Of course, it remains a machine translation, and of course, the intelligence of those machines is getting better every day. But it's not yet working
fully
without any errors.
Well, I guess it takes time, but it's, as I understand, it's learning all the time, so it gets better and better. So hopefully one day we get it. Because
life will be even a bit more complicated than existing videos. It's really good to use this technology in more ways than in all ways possible. And that's how it will improve also. The more it's used, the more it will improve.
The other short news from Microsoft, again, is that Microsoft published a guide for Windows 10 and their Office products for blind and visually impaired users.
Wonderful.
And it's I checked the guide briefly, and it's very well structured, I have to say. So people who want to learn how to use the stuff and do the training in their organizations or whatever, now you have free material to do that. There is also another link in our show notes for new keyboard layouts for narrator, which are finally looking much more as a standard screen reader shortcuts as we are used to, which is good. They finally also what I remembered from skimming quickly through that keyboard guide is that now you have also like a keyboard help, so you can like see what's
and it tells you.
Yeah. So it's really good. And there will be another link also in our show notes for the introductory free webinar from Vispero, that's ex-Freedom Scientific, which is talking about the introductory to the Office 365 with JAWS. So right now the Office 2016 is also available in their 365 edition, which is like the online edition, but you can also install it on your desktop if you want, and receive the monthly or weekly updates as long as they're having the new updates, and which is good for multiple points, because all the accessibility changes are being shipped in that version right away, so you are right at the spot with those. And I see that Microsoft accessibility team is really doing a lot, and there are like bunch of tweets about what are they doing, and lots of things are improving in in terms of the accessibility for the screen reader and the low vision users, which is great. I mean, it's we're finally seeing very, very big push from such a big company, and that's fantastic.
Yes, it is.
Indeed.
Okay, what do we have? Okay, and we got really interesting news from the European Parliament. And the thing is that usually we don't receive too many informations in public about like what's going on in the European institutions and how are they doing and what are they doing in terms of accessibility work. However, the documentary about digital accessibility in the European Parliament just got released, and we will have the link for the YouTube, because the documentary is available on the YouTube since a few days ago. And the movie is about half an hour long, and you can see a bunch of people there who were working at that time with different disabilities, talking about what are they doing in the European Parliament and what the Parliament is doing to make their softwares and the stuff that it's being used in the institution accessible. So yeah, if you recognize some of the voices, that's because we were there.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I was involved in the documentary as well, since I had a traineeship at that time in the European Parliament, which was like in the 2017 when we did the part of the shooting for the movie. So yeah,
That's great.
And was most of the software accessible, or did you have to pick a good news story?
Well, you have to watch the movie.
Yes, I will.
You have to
But you
watch
never know what didn't you don't know what didn't make it to the movie. So
No.
that's my question.
No, the thing was that I would say that it's really well made in terms of like, yeah, that different people with different disability said their opinion, and that's good. You can see like different kind of opinions. You can see also some announcements from the politicians, and as well from the people who are working as a staff.
I must say that I was very pleasantly surprised and impressed by the visitor center of the European Parliament in Brussels. How accessible it is. They have audio guides in all the languages. They have audio description for the movies. They even have braille displays on the computers when there are some, it's like a quiz or something. So it's there. They have a screen reader and a braille display running on those booths. So I'm really impressed. So I didn't want to be mean or negative with my question. I
Sure.
really think they're doing nice things. So so it's great to hear that for the workers inside that they also have good attention to accessibility.
Yeah, I have to say I've been in there as well, and I saw the braille display, which looked like I don't know which display it was, but it looked like a thing from the Apollo 13 or something. But yeah, I mean, eventually it is a braille display, and
If it does the job, then
yeah, if it does the job, it's fine. But it's I've never seen such device before, so I don't know what is it. By the time when I was able to ask somebody who was working, they didn't know. But yeah, it was nice to see that as well. Okay, so that's about the news section, and now we can skip over to the few tips for the Christmas purchase. Jacob, you want to start first?
Yeah, I'm thinking always about what cool stuff to buy for Christmas, and I'm gonna recommend Google Chromecast or Google Chromecast Audio, because it's a really cute little device. It's about 30 euros, and what it does is you connect it to your Wi-Fi network and connect it to some kind of speakers, and then you gain ability to play music from very many different apps to your speaker. So, for example, Spotify or TuneIn Radio or even some podcast apps. So it comes up as an option on your phone, and you can send your device there. And if you buy many of those, you can link them up so you can play the same content in different rooms, which is also quite nice. So I'm suggesting Google Chromecast audio.
Okay.
What app do you use to control it?
There's a Google Home app where you set up the device. And then later, if you go to Spotify, for example, you just open the regular Spotify app and it says devices available at the bottom of the screen, at least on iOS. And then you tap it and then it comes up with your Google Chromecast or Chromecast enabled devices.
And that's Bluetooth as well?
No, that's
or
not
Wi-Fi?
Bluetooth. It transmits over Wi-Fi.
Okay, excellent.
Nice. What about if you link the multiple Chromecasts, and what about the synchronicity of the stream?
It does it automatically. So you just create a group in your Google Home app and call it, for example, like the whole house. And when you tap it in your Spotify app to send audio there, it just syncs it and does its job. And if there are consistent issues, so for example, one speaker lags, you can correct the lag in the app later.
Oh,
Wow.
Okay. So it should be nice alternative as well.
It is. It's quite cheap and cool. I really like it. I have a few scattered around the house, so I can just.
So is there a differences between like Chromecast audio and the Chromecast, or it's
not anymore? The Chromecast is with HDMI, so you have to connect it up to your TV, and it can. With the Chromecast, with regular Chromecast, you can send videos to it as well, or photos. So you can watch YouTube or Netflix or whatever you want, and send the content from your phone to your TV. If you have an Android device, you can share the whole screen also and display that on the screen, which has the Chromecast connected to.
Okay. Yeah, that's a cool thing. Anything else?
No, well, I thought that would be my suggestion.
That would be your
Do
suggestion.
you have any?
Okay. Yeah. Well, get a Sunu band. Yeah. Well, who wants to spend some money? I mean, they're not so cheap. In total, they're like 2,070 euros. But I think it's worth investment if you have
2,000, you
money.
say?
Sorry.
You said 2,000?
No, 270.
Well, let's get that corrected then.
Yeah.
You said 2,000.
You said
No. It's 270 euros.
Okay, we'll get that corrected.
Yeah. And yes, if you want to get such a thing, which would definitely be helpful in your daily orientation, then check out the Sunu.io and order your device. They are now shipping worldwide again, so it's good. And I think that's all for now regarding the news and Christmas announcements for the possible gadgets. We are going to have one Android tip from me for the Android users about enabling and disabling picture-in-picture mode. Basically, what's happening is that since Android 8 came out and now Android 9, one of the default stuff that became implemented in the operating system itself is picture-in-picture mode, where you are able to split the screen in two parts. So, for example, you would have one app loaded on one half of the screen and the other on the other half of the screen. And I can imagine that in some cases, especially for sighted people, it can be really very nice feature. For blind people, it's accessible, but it can be also annoying in the same time. And there are situations where the developers are making this picture-in-picture mode as a default option, and the apps such as, for example, Google Maps or YouTube are one of those that have this feature as a standard. So now, for example, since my phone got update on Android 8, uh, I was really annoyed for a few weeks by that, because when I would launch Google Maps, it would really be frustrating to, get around the screen. However, thanks to one friend of mine, Daniel from Germany, from Düsseldorf, yeah, my Croatian friend as well. He found the way how to turn it off, and I was investigating this feature all around the internet, and I couldn't find it how to turn it off. Basically, it's very easy, but it's not. It's once you know where it is, it's easy to do that. It's not technically complicated. So I will.
Thank you for
share-
sharing. Yeah,
yes,
good.
of course.
Great.
All right, guys. We came to the end of this episode. I wish to all of our listeners all the best for Christmas and a happy New Year. Have nice, have a nice food, and don't drink too much if you're driving, and so on. um, and yeah, we'll be happy to return in January
Absolutely.
after we rest for a while, because we deserve it. And yeah, we are also. However, if we are on holidays, our email and Twitter are not on holidays, so you can send us feedback anytime you want. If you want to listen to us at 3 in the morning, go ahead. And if you liked something or disliked, yeah, you can say as well, and we'll be happy to answer.
Okay, cool. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, take care.
And then now it's time for the tip.
Demo time. Time for a demonstration.
Hello, Ebu Access Cast. It's time for another quick tip for our podcast, and this time I'm going to talk about one thing that is very useful for sighted people, but it can be annoying for blind users, especially the users who are using the assistive technologies such as the TalkBack, which is a main screen reader on Android platform. In fact, what's going on is the thing that since Android 8, one of the default things which is integrated into the operating system is called picture-in-picture mode. And basically what it does is that you're able to split the screen with a bunch of applications. So for example, you can have 2 or 3 different apps on the one screen. So like part of one screen would be one application, another part of screen would be another application. And I believe that visually this looks very good, and people who are navigating through the phones like that can have this decent advantage. However, for blind users, though it's accessible, it can be really frustrating because sometimes you cannot see part of information which you need on the screen, and the dock which is on the bottom of the screen is hidden and stuff like that. So I was very busy in the last few weeks to find a solution. Is it possible to turn this feature off? And many people told me, no, it's not working. But eventually, luckily to one friend of mine, he discovered that and he shared the tip with me, so I'll share it with the others. And eventually, it's not easy to find it. It's not logical where it is, but it's possible to turn that feature off. A picture-in-picture mode is showing in not all of the apps, but more of them every day are being programmed so that they have this feature enabled. And if it's enabled, then this picture-in-picture mode is appearing automatically. So it's you have to do it for each app, but once you know how to do it, it's very easy. For now, I found that Google Maps is showing picture-in-picture mode, and the YouTube and maybe some other applications as well. But those two, which I'm using frequently, almost every day, can be really annoying if something like that shows up. So I'm gonna launch my Google Maps, and let's choose some destination.
Stop recording button. Play recording button. Double tap home button. Amazing MP3. Apps list button. Search apps. Edit box. EBRS 5 SDI. EBI Elements DTS. Place. Click. FM radio. Free motion. Editor. Google. Scripts. Home. HR. Instant. Master row. Lookout. Luxembourg languages. Updated. Maps.
Here it is.
Menu. Show items 1 to 5 of 15. Double. Explore nearby.
Let's check something.
Restaurants. Double tap to activate.
Let's check, for example, which restaurants I have in nearby.
Restaurant. Vanilla Sorrow. 4.5 stars. 89 ratings and reviews. 90% match. Restaurant. 20 minutes. Post
All
hours.
right.
00 p.m. Double tap to directions. Double tap to driving. Button. Navigate up. Edit box. Your mode. Edit box. Restaurant. Overflow menu. Button. Swap start and destination. Button. Selected. Driving mode. 21. Transit mode. 1 hour 40. Walking mode. 3 hours 10. Bicycling mode. 1 hour 5. Layers button. Start.
So let's say I start.
Restaurant Boniface Sarl may be closed by the time you arrive.
Okay, never mind. Now I'm going to
Restaurant. Vanilla Sorrow. 700. 15 kilometers. 5:42 p.m.
now I'm going to go to my desktop from the Google Maps,
Home button. Menu. Menu picture. Picture.
and we got menu picture in picture,
Apps list button.
which means that if I now explore on the icons through the icons on the screen,
Open camera. Shadow. Table. Maps. Rally. 5:43 p.m. Maps picture in picture.
then on the bottom of the screen I would hear this,
Amazing apps list button. Home. Maps. Rally. 5:43 p.m. Maps picture in picture.
and that's the part of the Google Maps that's showing up on the screen. So part of my screen is hidden. So what can I do to fix it? Well, first of all, I will close the Google Maps.
Overview button. Double tap to activate. Amazing MP3 recorder. Maps. Open maps tablet. Dismiss maps button. Maps dismissed.
So I dismissed Maps. And now I'll open my apps list.
Amazing MP3 recorder. Home button. Amazing MP3 home. Back button. Home. Home. Add amazing my table. Photos. Home. Photos. Actions. Home button. Home. Actions. Shortcuts. Remove. Move item. Amazing apps list button. Error. The grid. 27 rows. 4 columns.
And I'll find Maps.
Shortcut. Division AI. ESDI. EDI. Switch bus. Google. Scripts. Home. HRT. Instant. KN. Map. Map. Messages. Maps.
Here it is.
Shortcuts. Add to home screen. Double tap to activate. Double tap to hold to long press.
And what you can do when you come on the name of the application, which has picture-in-picture mode, you can do the long click on the app, or you can bring up the custom actions. I configured my talkback for the custom actions to show up, and I will click on the shortcuts.
Shortcuts. List items. Add to home. Shortcuts.
Shortcuts.
Search apps. Edit box.
And then I will find the app info,
Photo. Word. Widgets. Button. Add info. Button.
which is here. I click.
More options. Button. Double tap to activate. Double tap to hold to long press.
And now I will scroll down.
Permissions. Location storage. 147 data usage. 136 MB usage of battery. 2% usage. Last full charge. Open by default. No default set. Advanced heading. Picture in picture. Allowed. Double
And
tap to
here it is, picture in picture, and it says allowed. Let's see what happens when we click on that.
activate up button. Double tap to activate. Allow this app to read a picture in picture window when the app is open or after you leave it. For example, to continue watching a video, this window displays on top of other apps you're using. The list 3 items.
Well, yeah, here's the short description about it, but I don't want it to have it allowed, so I will turn it off.
Allow picture in picture on switch. Double tap to
So I'll
activate.
say off.
Off. Allow this app to read a picture in picture window button. Activate up button out of list.
And
Double tap to picture in picture. Max 10.6.1. The list 3 items. Allow picture in picture off switch.
allow picture in picture is off. So now I'll just click back to get out.
Max the grid. 27 rows. 4 columns. Unify stack button out of grid. Apps list button.
And
Amazing MP3 recorder.
here it is.
Actions. Overview. Wallpapers.
When you
Tap
click
to activate.
that app again, or if I would open Google Maps again, it would open normally, and if I would minimize it, and if I would go on my desktop on the home screen, the app would stay in the background, so it will not be sharing half of the screen again. So thank you very much for listening, and hear you next time in the next demonstration or next tip. Bye bye.
Thank you for listening. This has been EBU Access Cast.